Guys, it's Tessa. So firstly, new hair. Let me know what you think. I got tired of my really long hair because it was driving me insane. So I cut it and then I recolored it, and I think I actually kind of like it a little bit more now. I don't really like my hair this short. Anyway, not the point. But I have some very fun, exciting stuff to talk about today. So to begin with, finished projects. I have 100% completed the brown and green cardigan. I also posted a video for it. Quick view here. I already have some feelings on it as well. It's probably been completed for about a week now. Essentially my main feelings are just I should have done short rows in the back, and I should have had a couple fewer stitches on the back section when I started. When it's buttoned up and stuff, it sits a little bit far off my shoulders than I'd like, but whatever. I don't really care that much. I wear this as like my in-the-house cardigan when it's slightly cold here. And I used one of my new acquisitions actually. These are 20mm buttons that I bought for the Daft Days cardigan, which, update, the Daft Days cardigan is basically completed. It's not really a finished object, and it's not technically a whip anymore because it's completely off my needles. So here we go. It is still slightly damp. I have the patience of something that has very little patience. It was on my blocking mats for 2.5 days and it still wasn't dry, so I became kind of a psychopath and blow dried it for the most part. And it's like 90% dry at this point. I actually really like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I did, or I thought I would. I really like the drape and I really like the overall feel of the cardigan. The only qualms I have so far are with the pattern itself and not the yarn, so that's nice. Speaking of the yarn, I have 2 full skeins of the orange left and 1 full skein of the brown left. I'm not sure what I'm doing with those yet, but I was not anticipating having that much yarn left over, saying, you know, I made the largest size in the pattern, which I could have not done that. I probably could have gone down 2 or 3 sizes and been fine. As you'll quickly learn to find out, I don't know what size clothing I wear in general, let alone what size patterns I should make. I made this problem with the halibut sweater. I made the same problem with this one. Halibut sweater, I was able to fix it though, because I didn't get very far in that project before I restarted altogether, because I kind of had to. This one, by the time I remembered that issue with the halibut sweater, I was already like 90% of the way complete with the back panel or something, and that was just a lot of extra work to frog and I didn't feel like doing it. So this cardigan is just a little bit on the bigger side. I will show it off in my next little podcast video just because it's not completely dry, buttons aren't on it, ends aren't weaved in. So that's why it's only technically a whip and not a full-blown whip like these other projects. Whip number 1. So I've worn this black top a couple times. I'll put a photo here if I have one. But it is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie May, or Jessie May Designs, I don't know. But basically every time I make that I modify it. So I haven't actually made one like fully on what the original pattern has. So this time I am making one that is like a it just comes up and has a little bit of a stitches. I don't know what the top is called. I want to call it a halter top, but I don't think that's correct. And it has like a razor back design instead of just a flat straight back design. I have the front panel left to complete on that, and then the straps, and I'm done. I was like 80% of the way through the front panel a couple nights ago before I realized I was decreasing too quickly, so I didn't have enough stitches to actually, you know, cover anything. So I frogged back the whole front piece that I stopped at for the split for the back panel, and now I'm restarting it, adding a couple extra rows between each of the decreases. My socks, I've made a little bit of progress. I planned for this to be my like going out project slash like right before bed project because it's a little bit mindless, but I also don't feel like it's mindless at all, and I feel like I have to think a lot for it. But I do have a decent amount of progress done on both the toes. It's probably only like 2-ish inches when I like slide them on. I also think I might have done a few too many stitches, or my like toe stitches start incorrectly because it's a little boxy on my toes. on one foot, so I'm hoping the solution to that will just be blocking them. We'll fix it, I hope. Other acquisitions, I realized I totally skipped over the rest of my acquisitions. I do this thing every year, slash last year, now this year, and plan to do it for next year, where I buy a sweater's worth of yarn or something like that and make a project for my birthday that I hope to have done by then. And so this year, I thought it'd be really fun to try out Knitting for Olive yarn. So I bought their standard merino and I bought the soft silk mohair. I bought it in 2 different colors because I was really curious how they would blend together. This is the cardamom. Oh my god, I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Cardamom. And then this is the mohair in Dusty Moose, or I believe, or something like that. I really like the way they're knitting up. Fun fact, new cast on as well. I've already done my swatches for this sweater. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But here is what the swatch looks like with these 2 yarns. And so paired up next to each other, I think they actually make a really nice blend. You get the like cream slash like nude color and then a little bit of that gray peeking through for the mohair. So that brings my yarn total though up a little bit higher. I think it is now closer to like 550 gram balls of yarn. Let me check. Yeah, so that brings our total to 465. And I think I started the last video at like 420 or ended my Sasquatching season 2 episode 1 with like 420 or 430, so I've added quite a bit. I also ended up including the 3 extra skeins from the Daft Days cardigan as well. Yeah, so we're adding numbers and not subtracting them, and I don't really love that, but it's fine. Let's see, the scarf, the like Sophie scarf, not Sophie scarf I was working on, still working on it. I've gotten to the point now where I have the end just attached with a stitch marker higher up so it's not so long. I also wanted to try out doing the seed stitch with this pattern, and I didn't mind it. I just don't, I think it's a tension issue, but when I start each row with the 3 stitches for the I-cord and when I do the first stitch for like the main panel, I always get a lot of weird tension issues. And I don't think it's because of the seed stitch, but I don't think the seed stitch was helping me at all with that. So that was not fun. So I decided to switch back to the stockinette, which I don't mind at all. It's really just helping me kind of understand how this kind of thing works and functions. Still on the first skein for this as well. I should also note I did frog and restart it initially. I don't remember exactly why I frogged it. I think it might have been because I felt like my increases were too visible. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and somehow I've fixed that. I don't know how. Oh, I do know how, because I moved the stitch increase. Okay, so when I was doing it initially, I would do my 3 stitches for the I-cord edge, and then I would do my first stitch and do the knit front back in that first stitch. And I think because of the I-cord edge and that being the first stitch, there was a gap occurring between the 2 spaces. So I've now shifted my increase to be at the 2nd stitch after the I-cord section, which seems to have helped significantly. New cast-ons. So I have cut out all of the pieces for my first version of the Autumn Stays. I haven't really decided if I'm filming that one or not, or if I'm just filming the second one that I'm gonna make. I'm not really sure because I'm already paused on that because I don't have long enough. Okay, don't call me crazy. But I don't want to buy like corset boning because it's expensive. Even the plastic like crappy stuff is just more expensive than I want to pay for right now. Or in the past I have used zip ties, specifically like the heavy duty ones from like Home Depot and Lowe's. They work basically the same as any plastic ones. You can even shape them as well, like it's really the same thing. But with that, I only have one length of zip ties. I think they're like the 12 or the 14 inch when I need closer to like an 18-20 inch for the back panel boning. So I just need to go to Home Depot and buy more zip ties, and I haven't. Or I need to go online and buy the plastic substitute, and I, again, just haven't done it. So all those pieces are cut out. I'm doing it. I love complicating things for myself, by the way. You'll find out pretty quickly. I am doing it to be, I'm making it to be reversible, which I'm already kind of regretting, to be honest. Especially since I'm also not using the interfacing that the pattern wanted me to use. I am using some cotton batting that I had left from a quilt I made 2 years ago at this point, or a year and a half ago at this point, for my friend's baby. I'll pin that video or something. But I have a bunch of that left, so I'm deciding to use that instead, which I'm slightly regretting because I'm just worried about getting the bones in there. But I think I have a tiny plan, which is praying I don't stab through the zip ties. I have also cut the pieces for the adjustable circle skirt. I think I mentioned in the last podcast as well. I haven't figured out how I'm going to make it adjustable yet, other than either the front panel or the front two panels can be like pinned back farther, but then I run into a slight problem of like weird bunching happening at the side seams. Again, I haven't fully fleshed this idea out yet, but that's sort of where we're at. Next is the birthday cardigan. So I am gonna butcher the name of this, and I'm so sorry. I am making the Fouette cardigan, Fouette cardigan. I think it's French. I never took French in high school. Fun fact. I've only taken Spanish, and I took like 8 years of Spanish, and I still can only have basic conversations. Anyway, that's another story for another day. But I'm making that cardigan by Celine Feyten Designs? Feyten Designs? I don't know. I'm also not good at phonetics. But that is the cardigan I'm going to be making. Like I mentioned, I got cardamom and dusty moose from Knitting for Olive, and I've already completed my swatches as well. I showed you the first swatch. For this pattern, it did require you to make 2 swatches. So the first one here being your stockinette swatch. Let's see if that focuses. This is a really drapey cardigan, which I love. I'm so excited for this cardigan. I don't like cardigans that are super heavy or super thick or that don't move, because California, or at least where I'm at in California, is not designed for that. So I love that this is really drapey, and it feels like it's going to be nice and airy as well. So hopefully it won't be like the halibut sweater where I feel like I'm suffocating in it because of the mohair. Also, yeah, there's mohair in this, and if you've seen my Why I Hate Mohair video, you'll know so far my experiences with mohair have been a solid 50-50. I used the Drops Kid Silk mohair for my halibut sweater, hated it. I've worn my halibut sweater twice since I made it. One of them was in the video where I talked about it. And then I made the Point Edward mitts, these guys, using the Les Petites Lingerie, I don't remember. Again, I'll pin the video here. But I used that mohair and I loved it. So I'm essentially trying another mohair and hoping I like it this time as well. I did a bunch of research on basically the price value for how people ended up liking the mohair, and it seems like Knitting for Olive has this like the best ratio for that, of people liking the mohair and the price not being too bad. For all the yarn I purchased, which I know I purchased excess, I purchased 800 extra yards because I just wanted to make sure I had enough because I didn't have this pattern picked yet. And I spent about $200 on that, which again, I'm able to do that because I had some money set aside for my birthday yarn. I think in a normal situation though, it probably would have only been like a little more than 100 if I didn't want to do the mohair, which I didn't have to. But we also have our second swatch, which, tell me it doesn't look great. Tell me it's not cute. But that is the cabling and lace work, which, I don't know if you could even see it from that far away because of the lighting in here, which I was a little nervous for, I won't lie. I was a little worried I wouldn't be good at it or I wouldn't do it correctly, which I technically did make a couple of mistakes, but I also don't care that I made a few mistakes because that wasn't really the point. The point was not to not make mistakes, it was just to see if I could do it, which I can. I just can't really start this cardigan very much until I buy printer ink, which is really annoying because I'm out of magenta. My printer will not print even in black and white because I'm still out of magenta. But I think that's gonna finish up here. That is everything that's currently happening right now. I'm also finding out I love having multiple projects on my needles at a time. The gratification of completing a project and then being close to completing another is amazing. Love it. I'm thinking I can finish this new Ripple bralette in like 3 days potentially. I'm also using the Drops Baby Merino in Petrol for that, and I'm again loving it. The scarf, the like Sophie scarf adjacent, is using the Malabrigo Rio in the color Glitter, and then I don't have the I don't have the label for the sock yarn anymore. So check out the last podcast to figure out what yarn that was. I think I mentioned it there at least. But that will finish up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see me finish all these projects or talk about all of them. Subscribe if you think my hair looks cool, because I think it looks really cool. Leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, feedback. If you have opinions on the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair, tell me, okay? Because I'm still very hesitant to use it, but I think I'm going to. Yeah, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.